Powered by Riverside.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome into a brand new episode of the Broken Wolverine Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cotton, and alongside of me, wow, whoa, look who's back. It's my co-host, Jake Bells. What's up, Jake?
What's up, Matt? Yeah, I'm finally happy to be back. I have missed this, I'll tell you that for sure. The past 2 weeks have been hard for me to watch without being on, so glad to be back.
You know how to podcast, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Okay. All right, good. All right, well, what do we have this week? Oh, Chicagoland. The return of Chicagoland. And I think a lot of fans definitely had some excitement on that one. And then what else? Oh, yeah, Denny Hamlin. Plus now 44 on the points over Tyler Reddick. So the lucky start that, 23XI got in this lawsuit with Tyler Reddick. Well, guess what? Denny Hamlin's now plus 44. So, Jake, a lot of fun topics tonight. We're going to be talking about Chicagoland. We're going to be diving into this race together this evening. First of all, we want to apologize to all of our fans. Obviously, we go live on Wednesday nights. Unfortunately, Thursday night edition of the Broken Wolverine Podcast. Unfortunately, I had some personal stuff to take care of this week on Wednesday, so we're bumped over to Thursday, and I hope you are live and joining live with us this evening. Multiple topics of conversation going on this evening as well. Feel free. Blown Engine chat line wide open for you. You hear a topic, you disagree with us, we will want to hear from you because there could be some disagreements going on tonight's show. But if you love what you're, you love the topic, obviously chime in as well. We want to hear from the fans. Again, we are a NASCAR fan page and NASCAR podcast for the fans. Also, we are a Full Throttle Media podcast company. So, again, appreciate Tyler from Full Throttle Media. We're under his media umbrella. And then, of course, multiple ways to follow us and continue our support of our show. One, Facebook, at the Broken Wolverine Podcast. Feel free to pound the follow button over there. YouTube, at the Broken Wolverine Podcast as well. Feel free to follow hit the follow button, excuse me. That is where our live show and live streams will be on each and every single week. Again, we usually go Wednesday nights, but unfortunately life gets in the way, and we have to go either Tuesday or Thursday as well. If you miss our live stream, feel free to follow us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Again, if you missed the live stream, those shows will be posted up there for your listening viewership. And again, follow us on TikTok at the Broken Wolverine Pod. A lot of fun conversations over there. We got to keep up and we got to get better with that, by the way.
Yeah, I got to get better post videos on that. That is my fault.
I know. I was looking at our TikTok the other day. I was like, damn, Watkins Glen. That was almost 2 months ago now.
Yeah,
So,
we're going to get back in it.
Yeah, we'll definitely be posting up a lot more with the reels as well on that. So, again, thank you for tuning in to everyone live tonight on the show. Again, Blood Ninja chat line wide open for you. Jake, show announcement. We're a month away from Richmond.
Yes, we are.
We are a month away from Richmond. So, again, we will be live from Richmond Raceway on August 15th, right before the race. Looking forward to that episode. Hopefully, we have better Wi-Fi, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we have better internet service on Lake Pocono. But another opportunity for our fans to meet us. Again, we're looking forward to Richmond. First time you and I are going to be at the track ever in our lives. So, it'll be exciting to meet some of, A, our Virginia followers, and B, also see a track that we've never been to, even though we are officially like 5 hours away, which is kind of pathetic. So, again, if you miss us at Dover, you miss us at Pocono, chime on in. We'll be down there at Richmond on August 15th. So, all right, dude, let's take the green flag on tonight's episode. Right? Let's take the green flag on tonight's episode. We're going to kick things off like we usually do each and every single week with the NASCAR news, courtesy of jski.com. Follow them on Facebook, X, or by web at www.jski.com. So, first on the board, we always, and maybe doing Thursdays is actually really nice for us, Jake, because we actually get the Nelson ratings for these races. Yeah, so we get the Nelson ratings from the race on usually Wednesday nights, and they usually drop during our show. Sometimes we'll get lucky before we go on, maybe they'll drop. But this week we ended up getting Chicagoland TV ratings. All the fans wanted to race back. Nelson ratings said 2.1 million viewers on TNT Sports. So, looks like NASCAR, in my opinion, it looks like we're kind of in that steady stretch at this point with a healthy viewership at usually high or low twos between those and high twos. This week, Chicagoland nailed a 2.1 million viewer rating on TNT Sports. So, will it be enough to keep Chicagoland on the schedule? That's going to be the question, and we'll get into that a little bit later in this show. Next up on the board, we got Tyler Reddick. He was nominated for the Best Driver Award at next week's ESPYs, which is very odd to me.
Yeah.
So ESPN does their yearly sports award show, the ESPYs, for anyone that doesn't know that. And yes, NASCAR or motorsports gets a category for the best driver. Now Tyler Reddick is nominated for the Best Driver Award at the ESPYs, but he's probably going to be up with whoever F1 ended up getting, and then of course IndyCar. Usually NASCAR, I think the last time NASCAR won an ESPY, it might have been Kevin Harvick, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look that up later in the show. But NASCAR usually does not pan well, especially with the influx of F1, the love for F1 in this country anymore. But Reddick, nominated as the best driver at the ESPYs, Jake. Kind of an interesting move. I would say that there's probably 3 other drivers I would have nominated before Tyler Reddick.
Yes.
Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin. Kyle Larson is your champion from last year.
That's true.
Usually the champion the year before usually gets nominated at the ESPYs. I guess maybe Larson's championship didn't count. But yeah, I mean, Tyler Reddick, I know he was off to a historical start to start the season, and maybe that's what it was. It was, hey, he had the three-peat to start the season. But NASCAR, we've had drivers have three-peats, and they never get nominated unless they win the championship. So Reddick is the NASCAR choice at the ESPYs next week. Next up on the board, Jake, Atlanta winner is going to be taking home a 250 Years of Freedom custom Harley-Davidson motorcycle this week at Atlanta.
That's gonna be pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. You know?
That's something new.
I'm going to say this. Atlanta has a really, really cool trophy to begin with because they have all the peaches and all that type of stuff. But this is awesome. I mean, I'm interested. So, obviously, you got the in-season tournament that is obviously going to bring in some juice. And then winning a custom motorcycle from Harley-Davidson for the race winner, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, 250 years. I mean, I always thought that Pocono's freaking trophy was the coolest. American flag in the middle, bald eagle.
Yeah, and maybe we might be a little bit biased. I mean, I guess if you rank the best trophies, I would say the Daytona 500 trophies. Probably
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. Daytona 500, Brickyard, and Pocono are my top 3 trophies in the whole circuit. Right. I do like.
Yeah,
the
and right after that, I like the grandfather clock. That's just iconic.
The grandfather clock is awesome, and I'm so happy because the business that used to make them ended up they went out of business, of course, and someone else picked that up. I do love that tradition as well. So those are probably my 4 favorite trophies right there. But this is going to be pretty sick though.
It's going to be sweet. I can't wait to see the bike. I hope whoever wins it freaking does a burnout with it. That'd be even better.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm actually stoked about this. And then finally, our final headliner this week, courtesy of jski.com. Prime Video and TNT wish they had bought more NASCAR races. So this just came out yesterday, and I've been seeing this all over the place. And I wanted to save this article for last because I'm happy that Prime and TNT are invested massively. I wish that Amazon Prime had a lot more races than just 5 in the season. I think that Prime's got the best coverage out of all the sports, and if you talk to any of the old people that don't have Prime, they're going to get pissed at me for saying that, but I'm sorry. They have the best coverage. They have the best pre-race show to me. They have the best intro to a NASCAR race, and then, of course, they have one of the best broadcast booths in the sport. This is going to be very interesting because this television contract's up in 2031. And with the way that our grandfather television network, Fox, has been acting lately, I wouldn't be surprised if Prime ends up getting a good portion of their schedule, or maybe they're the premiere, or maybe they're the first ones to open up the season in 2031.
I would love that.
I mean, could you imagine the Daytona 500 on Amazon Prime?
Oh,
That'd be insane.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think that'll ever happen because of cable television. I think cable is going to try to protect that race. But at the same time, like, I am happy that I'm happy that they're invested more. They have done absolutely outstanding coverage. I think TNT is a step down from what Amazon Prime is, even though they have the same broadcast booth. But there are things that TNT, in my personal opinion, does very well. One, bringing Marty Smith back into the NASCAR family. Long-time guy with ESPN. Very knowledgeable of the sport. Love listening to him with the SEC. And I've always said, man, NASCAR needs to find a place for this guy. NASCAR needs to find a place. Well, they did at TNT. And that broadcast booth is just as good as Prime, in my opinion. The problem with TNT is I feel like that they kind of got a weird part of the stretch of the schedule, especially with Sonoma.
Yeah.
I'm so out on Sonoma. Maybe that's my problem.
You went to Sonoma after watching probably one of the greatest races I think I've ever seen on a freaking naval base.
Yeah.
Then you go to Sonoma and you're like, I just watched them run around on a road course and this sucks.
Yeah, Sonoma was absolutely a massive disappointment. But, I mean, Chicagoland was pretty good. Atlanta's always going to be elite.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got North Wilkesboro I'm excited about, and then, of course, Indy. So,
I think Indy's there, and I like that it's the last one, but I think that's the best track to go to.
The one thing I love about the television contract is that every network gets a crown jewel, right?
Yes.
Fox gets the 500 clearly. Amazon Prime gets the Coke 600. TNT gets the Brickyard 400, and then NBC gets the Southern 500. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. But I just feel like Prime, for me, I just feel like Prime's schedule is so perfect, right? You got Charlotte, Nashville, Michigan, Pocono, and then, of course, they closed out with, the street course at San Diego this past year. So, all right. Again, those were all the updates this week. Headliners courtesy of jski.com. Follow them on X, Facebook, or web at www.jski.com. So we have a comment chiming in. Ryan checks in tonight on the Blue Ninja chat line. He said not biased, I guess because we were talking about the Pocono trophy. Yeah, you're right. I'm not biased about it. I think it's a pretty sick trophy. I mean, I guess, and Ryan's a follower of the show, and he's a big Dover guy. I guess Miles the Monster is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Miles the Monster is pretty cool, but I don't think it's above those four. I really don't. I don't
It's
know.
an icon, don't get me wrong, but
I
not
think
above those.
I think Miles sitting outside of the statue sitting outside the racetrack is a lot cooler than the trophy itself.
Yeah.
But yeah. See, Pocono doesn't have a mascot, Well, no, they do. I'm sorry, they do.
Yeah.
They have that stupid fox.
Yeah.
I don't even know the name of it, and we've been there for so many years now, and we're Pennsylvanians, so like it's kind of pathetic.
Yeah, I
that
don't
we
know that.
Tricky. It's tricky.
It's tricky. Yeah.
Damn. All right. So sorry if you're listening to us live first time and you're sitting there judging us off of our NASCAR mascots knowledge. I'm sorry about that. We're so rusty on that. Next week, Jake, our notes are going to be filled out on every track's mascot.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking of mascots, though, guess what didn't have a mascot this weekend? Chicagoland. Chicagoland did not have a mascot. First time back on the schedule since 2019. Jake, passing the mic off to you. What do we think about Chicagoland?
Yeah, I mean, I was texting a few people back and forth, mainly you. I want to start. I want to give him a huge shout out for selling out. The viewership was awesome. I did not expect that. I was very disappointed in the race. I didn't think it was that great of a race until the end. And I know you and me kind of talked at the end. Just watching Chase Briscoe made it a phenomenal end of the race. That was great race car driving right there. And with Denny right there and everything, I think it was a great end of the race. The entire race was. I think there was a lot of hype behind it. And I don't know. I don't know if it comes back or not. I just don't think it was good racing. I don't think the surface is that good. I think the best part of that race was when Austin Hill rear bumper or whatever you want to call it gets smashed in, and he's on the radio and yells Shane Guggenbergen or however the hell you say his name. I think that was the highlight of the race. But besides that, I mean, the end of the race was good, but I personally wouldn't put it back on. But with the views and it selling out, maybe NASCAR just need to see that. Who knows?
Yeah, the Austin Hill wreck with Shane Van Gisbergen was hysterical. It's Austin Hill on the radio. There was a couple of them, by the way. Hoseford and Zane Smith, right? I mean, Zane Smith ends up wrecking himself. Like, we were talking for a couple weeks now. I'm like, yeah, Zane Smith's coming up. Like, guys, get on the hype train, all that type of stuff. He wrecks himself. So, NASCAR, by the way, made no penalties on any of that stuff, by the way. None.
Yeah.
So, dodged a massive bullet for all those drivers. But in regards to Chicagoland as a track, I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going to get crucified on air for this. I think that NASCAR fans have sometimes, they drip too much in the nostalgia, way too much, right? We need to bring this back. We need to bring this back. We need to bring this back. And I was skeptical of Chicagoland coming back. And I'll tell you why. One, I love the Chicago Street Course. I think that the Street Course was a very innovative idea. I thought it was really cool. The place sold out. And again, fans were not going to Chicagoland before the pandemic. The pandemic, to me, kind of saved Chicagoland from having a date because they were getting embarrassed by attendance for years, right? And now, this past weekend completely changed. Obviously, they sold out, and it was a true sellout. It wasn't they removed stands. They didn't put banners over the seats, all that type of stuff. It was a true sellout. I was, in regards to the racing, and this is why I get a little upset sometimes with NASCAR fans. It's like, well, Kansas runs very well with this next-gen car. Vegas runs well in this next-gen car. The 1.5 is what we want. This is what we want. This is what we want. We almost went from an era of fandom, of complaining we have too many cookie-cutter tracks on the schedule, to having an innovative schedule, to we want all the cookie-cutters back. While Chicagoland is different on layout compared to Vegas and Kansas, because the backstretch is not a true straight line. It's basically it's ovaled a little bit. I will give Chicagoland credit. I thought the race itself this past Sunday was pretty good. I would give it a B+. Obviously, last week, if you listened to us on air, I said Sonoma was a C-. I think Chicagoland was a B+. And the reason why it was not an A in my personal opinion is because, one, I think that the beginning of the race was very sloppy. I thought the race in the beginning was very, very sloppy. There was a lot of wrecks. There was a lot of cautions. And I get it. We're racing on a track that we haven't raced in almost 7 years. 6 years, right? At that point, well, it was 7. So a lot of these drivers that were racing on Sunday, there was like a list of drivers, and I want to say it was from NASCAR First Alert. There was like 17 drivers in the field that had never raced at Chicagoland. Mm-hmm. So to compare Chicagoland to Kansas and Las Vegas, you can, but you can't because it's not a true oval. That backstretch does not go straight. So, but I think once the field ended up figuring out how to run the track, I think it turned out pretty well. And it took basically, in my opinion, it took all the way up to the beginning of stage 3 to realize, okay, we got a good feel for it. We know the grip levels of these tires. We know what line to run. We know where our cars balanced at, all that type of stuff. Now, if you're in the Toyota camp and your driver's driving a Toyota right now, every line and everything looked pretty damn good on Sunday, minus Tyler Reddick, which was very odd. All in all, I would say this, and I think the question is will Chicagoland come back on the schedule moving forward? Now, I got inside reports, and I have an inside source that said that the reason why Chicagoland was on the schedule is because there was a deadline that was missed by the mayor of Chicago for the street course. NASCAR basically scrambled when they were building the schedule for 2026 last year and basically ran back to Chicagoland because NASCAR owns the property. Now, do I believe that Chicagoland will be on the schedule moving in 2026 or next year moving forward? I think after Sunday, it's very difficult to tell the fans who are at the race that they did their job by selling out the track. Because remember, all the fans, everyone that complains, well, you want the track back, you got to go to the race. Well, the fans did show up.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be hard for me to sit there and say to NASCAR, hey, you know what, take this race off the schedule in 2027. I guess my question is, will they run... Because there was early reports earlier this year that the street course in Chicago could be back in 2027. Is it possible that NASCAR runs 2 races in the Chicago market in 2027?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could happen for sure. I mean, another thing is it's a great market out there. And
It is.
And it's like you said multiple times, even leading up to this race, is you guys wanted this back, you better show up, and you better pack those stands full. And they did. And I gave my props to that. But, man, another thing that I didn't like, I didn't like the driving surface of this track.
No, it was old. It was old.
You know, exactly. And obviously they're not going to redo a track right before this race. You know what I mean? Now, if I thought there was better racing, and maybe if they go next year, maybe they do a little bit of improvements. Who knows? But just like listening to Denny Hamlin, because they had storms during the weekend, you know, how he was like, oh, well, when the shade came out, I raced like this, and then when the sun was out. And I know a lot of tracks are like that, but I think you could clearly, visibly see that track change as soon as it got dark, and that sun started going down. And that's when I think it was easier for them to figure it out because they raced longer with the sun down.
Yeah, but they basically raced all of the stage and basically like at dusk and or basically at dawn all the way throughout the night, right? Now, like going back to your point, now in regards to Chicagoland with the racing surface, right? When we got North Wilkesboro back on the schedule, North Wilkesboro came back on in 2023. They did not do a repavement right away. Chicagoland clearly they weren't going to repave the surface because God forbid if something happens in 2027, they don't go back to Chicagoland. Why would NASCAR invest all that money into repaving a surface that they race at a track one time over the next decade, right? But I mean, in regards to the race itself, I would give it a B+. I do think that the ending is exactly what the fans wanted to see in this next gen car on the 1.5s. That race at the end became very, very interesting between Briscoe and Bell.
Oh, yeah.
Also, the one pet peeve I have with TNT is how many times do we have to hear Alex Bowman, the previous race winner at Chicago?
Dude, oh my God.
I mean, I get it. He won the last race at Chicagoland, guys. But, like, come on. This was, like, first of all, it was a previous generation, right?
Yes.
Previous generational car. We were, in the Monster Energy Cup Series. We weren't even in the Cup Series at the time. Yeah. Like, there was so many changes that happened since Alex Bowman's last win. And it's like, okay, that's like saying if, like, whoever won the last North Wilkesboro points race in a few weeks, they're like, oh, this was like, guys, that was like 30 years ago, right? Like, again, this is 7 years ago that Alex Bowman won at Chicago. And yeah, it was great that he won. And listen, I remember the day that he won. I was stoked to see Bowman win. But, like, it's not like we raced at Chicagoland last year and they're like, oh, this was the previous race winner. No, that was 7 years ago. Guys, stop. Enough. So, all right, let's get into this final score chart courtesy of NASCAR.com like we always do every single week. Chase Briscoe, he was your race winner on Sunday, followed up by Christopher Bell, who finished second. Denny Hamlin finished third, so 3 Toyotas, 1, 2, and 3 of Joe Gibbs Racing. We followed up with William Byron, who finished fourth. Alex Bowman ended up finishing fifth. Great day by the previous race winner of this track. Bubba Wallace ended up finishing 6th. 7th was Ryan Blaney. 8th was Ty Gibbs. 9th was Corey Heim, who was your winner at San Diego. Pretty good follow-up on his next race. And then close out the top 10, Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst finished 10th in this race.
Really good day for 23XI.
Really good day. Well, minus one driver, and we'll talk about him in a little bit. Stage 1, William Byron ended up winning the stage, followed up by Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, Chris Buescher, Riley Herbst, Denny Hamlin, Ty Gibbs, and Tyler Reddick. Stage 2, your top 10 was William Byron, Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, Ty Gibbs, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Austin Cindric, and John Hunter Nemechek was your Stage 2 top 10. Laps led in this race. Chase Briscoe led 51. Christopher Bell led a lap. Denny Hamlin led 30. William Byron led 94. Bubba Wallace led 35. Ryan Blaney ended up leading 8 laps. Corey Heim led a lap. Joey Logano led a lap. Austin Cindric led 18. Todd Gilliland led a lap. Cole Custer ended up leading 2 under green flag pit stops. Kyle Larson led 23, and J.J. Yeley ended up leading 2. I don't even remember J.J. Yeley leading those laps.
I don't either.
I'll be honest with you. That might be
Must
the
have been
biggest
doing a commercial break when they did like the double screen.
Definitely a commercial break. Definitely under green flag pit stops. That might be the biggest surprise coming out of Chicagoland this weekend. J.J. Yeley actually had a car in the front. It doesn't matter if it's green flag pit stops or not. J.J. Yeley led 2 laps and is credited for 2 laps in this race. So that was your finals, the final score chart, courtesy of NASCAR.com, coming out of Chicagoland on Sunday. So, Jake, driver number 1 topic is going to be Chase Briscoe this week. You know, it's got to be tough being a Chase Briscoe fan. Talk about the roller coaster this has been of a season for him. I mean, at one point, he was so far below the chase line, right? And we kept talking about early in the season. We were like, we know he's got the talent. We know he's got the equipment. He's going to get there. He's going to get there. And at one point, it almost felt like he was not going to get, like, he'll get to the chase, but not get into the top 10. Like, so he started the season off 36th at Daytona, then finished 2nd at Atlanta, 37th at Coda, 37th at Phoenix, 8th at Vegas, 12th at Darlington, 14th at Martinsville. So before Easter, he only had 2 top 10s, 1 top 5. Comes out of the Easter break. Okay, maybe clear his mind. Let's go with Chase Briscoe. He's going to start picking this thing up. 5th at Bristol, 3rd at Kansas, and then 29th at Talladega, 23rd at Texas, 4th at the Glen, 33rd at Charlotte. He had issues. 3rd at Nashville, 10th at Michigan, 12th at Pocono, 17th at San Diego, 2nd at Sonoma, and then he won this past weekend. Talk about a roller coaster type of season to start it off. But very similar to last year.
Very similar.
Very similar to last year, right? Gets the new ride at Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025. Kind of a roller coaster start to the season. Wins Pocono and then goes on the run he went on, right?
Yeah.
This win at Chicagoland to me on Sunday. While I'll say this was a much-needed win from the 19 team. The whole season, what do we hear? Toyota. Really, the only Toyotas that we've really heard about was Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick because they were winning races, and then you maybe put a little side of Christopher Bell into the pan, right?
Mm-hmm.
We really didn't hear much of Chase Briscoe at all. We didn't. That doesn't mean he didn't have a car to win a race. He did. Almost pulled it off at Nashville. Denny Hamlin got around him and Bell, clearly. But then last week at Sonoma, I feel like kind of was like the awakening of the 19 team. Chase Briscoe last Sunday at Sonoma made Shane Van Gisbergen look almost human on a road course.
Mm-hmm.
Almost made him look human on a road course. And to be honest with you, he had a slip-up coming up, up through turns 1 and 2. And basically gave Shane Van Gisbergen enough distance to basically pull off. This week, last week everyone's like, maybe Chase Briscoe's win's coming up soon. This week at Chicagoland, this was a masterclass by the driver of the 19, right? You had Bell, in my opinion, was probably the best car late in that run. And Briscoe basically ran defense the whole entire last 10 laps of that race. And how many times did we hear about closing the gap? Mm-hmm. And Bell almost got to him. He did. But at the same time, Briscoe was able to prevail. This is a massive win number 6 of his career for Chase Briscoe. Talk about a driver similar to last year, right? Roller coaster all season, wins at Pocono, and then all of a sudden that's when he start his little run into the Championship 4. I'm not saying that Briscoe's a Championship 4 driver, but all the way up until Watkins Glen, he was not a Chase driver. He was outside the Chase. Chase Briscoe now currently sits 8th in the points.
Mm-hmm.
He is right there. He is within striking distance of some of these guys. And all season long, we heard about it. You need to be in the top 6 in the points in order to be what? A championship contender, a championship threat. Well, Briscoe is what? Briscoe is less than 50 points behind Kyle Larson for 6th in the points. A Toyota engine. You got a driver who's hungry all the time. You know, and he seems like, with Briscoe seems like a driver. As soon as he punches his ticket in the victory lane, that's when things start clicking for that organization.
100%.
That's when things start clicking for that team. Him and James Small, this is not a fluke, and this is not a joke. This, during the summer, we always talk about who gets hot at the right time in the summer and rolls it all the way into the playoffs and into the championship run. You know, this is the time of the year that we need to start seeing drivers rise to the occasion. Briscoe, over the last 2 weeks, I'm keeping an eye on him, not just because he's got the win at Chicagoland, but more so because I personally think that this could be a driver that, hey, throughout the whole summer, we could be ripping off maybe a couple more wins, and by the time we hit the Chase, Briscoe may end up having 2 to 3 wins in the bucket.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming off 2 great weeks going into a track that he's not statistically great at in Atlanta. But it's like you say with the points thing, dude, he could clear that. Larson's not statistically good here recently. Neither is Briscoe, but again, if we have it like we did last year, 18 cars will finish on the lead lap, Chase Elliott will just cruise off into the sunset.
I would love that.
But I mean, I think for the stretch of races coming up, like you said, is a great time for a driver and Chase Briscoe to get hot.
Yeah. It is, and I mean, like what you just said, you statistically talk about Atlanta, like, is a great track for some of these drivers and all that type of stuff. Listen, it's restrictor plate.
Mm-hmm.
I throw all the statistics out the window on
yeah.
restrictor plate. It's basically playing Russian roulette at that point. And while I think Atlanta runs differently than Talladega and Daytona, listen, Briscoe, while he has not had the finishes at Atlanta, he's like a couple like incidents away from actually being like probably a top 5 consistent driver at that track or putting that car in the victory lane. Mm-hmm. And I do, like, going back to what you're saying, I do love this stretch for Briscoe because, yes, while Toyota has been basically unstoppable this season, you have Atlanta coming up. You got North Wilkesboro, not really a short track driver, but outside, once you get past North Wilkesboro, you got Indy. He loves that track.
Yep.
And then on top of it, you have Iowa, where he finished 2nd last year. And then Richmond, listen, James Smalls won multiple races with Martin Truex Jr. at Richmond. And then you have New Hampshire, another statistical great track for Chase Briscoe, mm-hmm. Daytona, and Darlington. I mean, this is the part, like I said, this is the part of the season in the summer stretch that drivers start getting hot. I need to start seeing drivers who's going to rise to the occasion. The first 19 weeks of the season don't matter to me at this point. Yes, it's great of what you accomplish, of course, but it's just like any other sport, and that's why I always love comparing NASCAR to other sports. It's not what you've done for me in the beginning parts of the season. It's who can get hot at the right time, and that's why I always manage and always monitor, when we look at previous champions of the sport, when did they start clicking and when did they start getting hot? You look at Logano back in 2024. Logano really got hot at the end of the summer and started winning races in the playoffs. Last year, Kyle Larson didn't win a race, but started getting really good throughout the playoff stretch and consistent. Reddick in the regular season points championship last year. This was a great stretch of races for him. This summer stretch is going to be massively critical. And yes, Briscoe could go to Atlanta and end up wrecking and finishing 36. It could happen. I'm not going to say Atlanta doesn't count because it sure as hell does count. Still a points-paying race. But once we get past Atlanta, I want to keep my eye on that 19 team and see what they can do moving forward from North Wilkesboro going into the playoffs or to Chase. So, let's talk about the driver who finished second, Christopher Bell. And I want to say this, Jake. It has been a rough couple weeks for the driver of the 20. And I will say, and what I mean by a rough couple weeks, it's not even about the stats. It's not even about where he's finished and all that type of stuff. He's driving with a broken wrist right now. That dude deserves all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
And for nearly coming up victorious at Chicagoland. And this is the whole thing. Like, we were just talking about Briscoe, right? A couple incidents here and there throughout the season and all that type of stuff. Well, I look at Christopher Bell, where it's like, okay, Bell doesn't have the win yet, but Bell is kind of in that similar situation as what Chase Briscoe was. A couple of these incidents go his way. I mean, you might be seeing a car like him and Bell in victory lane. Texas comes to my mind. Leading that race, right? Todd Gilliland spins out in front of him. Guess what? He wrecks. Like, that's shit that you can't make up. Like, that is like, dude, how in the world, and it's crazy because Bell is winless right now through 19 weeks. But I look back on it, and Bell could probably have about 3 wins right now. Texas, Michigan, Nashville, where his teammate Hamlin ended up passing him. But the thing about Christopher Bell that I love is that what he's accomplished over the last 2 weeks with a broken wrist. And that wrist is going to heal, folks. That is going to heal. This week coming up in Atlanta, right? He was running second on the second to last, green white checkered, right? And then got caught up by Carson Hocevar. Got caught up in a hurricane by Carson Hocevar. Had to throw that in there. Thank you, Kevin Harvick. But the point is that Bell, this is another driver I'm looking at as well. Like, we continuously talk about the Toyotas all season long. They've been great. While, yes, the speed has been there. Tyler Reddick and Denny Hamlin have won races. My question has always been, when are the other Toyotas going to put those cars in the victory lane? Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe. Briscoe did it this past weekend. Now, for me with Bell, it's like, okay, Briscoe got his win. When are you going to pick up your win? And again, it may not come for a couple more weeks just because of the fact that he's healing from a broken wrist, which, again, credit to all the world for driving a car with a broken wrist right now.
Yeah.
But I really do feel strongly over the next couple weeks with a Christopher Bell win coming up, right? You got Atlanta. But again, he was running second until the second to last green white checkered. North Wilkesboro. Well, he's won the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro in his career. Indy, not too sure, not too high on him at Indy. But then you got Iowa, you got Richmond. Richmond has always been a great track for Toyotas. It's a Toyota playground. I expect high results from Christopher Bell there. But then I look at a track like New Hampshire, where he's won in his career multiple times, or where he's not multiple. He's won there once, but he's been in the front almost every single New Hampshire race.
That's probably the race that I have circled to see him get in victory lane for the first time this year.
Yeah.
Is New Hampshire.
And look, I mean, the whole thing is that, and like, when we look at the standings, right, he's 10th currently in the point standings. And while that's not terrible, it's almost like, it's kind of like, almost like unfathomable to think that he's 10th in the points with how many times we've seen the 20 in the front. Now, a lot of shit has hit the fan for him, and a lot of, luck was not on his side. He's got 4 DNFs this year. He's got 4. So if he wants to be a championship caliber driver, just like we were talking about Briscoe, this summer stretch over the next 7 weeks, you just have to nail your checkpoints. You have to. That's something that I'm keeping an eye on as well. Is Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe. Like, can these two ride the wave throughout the whole entire summer? That's something that the two of them are going to need to do in order to catch up to the top 6 in the points. Mm-hmm. All right. I want to pass the mic off to you real quick, Jake. I want to ask you this question, and anyone who's listening to us live this evening, again, Bone-Ended Chat Line wide open. We want to hear your thoughts and opinions on Chicagoland, and of course, a couple, drivers as well that stood out to you, and some drivers that underachieved. We're going to go into that part of the segment before we get into a couple of these other drivers. Jake, I'm going to ask you this question. Who's one driver that disappointed this weekend and one driver that absolutely, caught your attention?
Caught my attention was Bubba Wallace. I think I say all 23XI. I don't really want to blame Tyler Reddick for what had happened. Unfortunate what happened. I still think 23XI had a good day. But I had to give it to Bubba Wallace, and dude, it's like every week now. That 5 car is my biggest disappointment. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I don't know. Like, what do you have? 4 top 5s in a row? Is he like getting comfortable?
Yeah.
Like that. Like he in the beginning of that race, he showed that he could. I mean, Denny Hamlin like fucking caught him with no problem at all. But I don't know. That shit pissed me off. I was already in an annoyed mood watching the races. I didn't really think it was that great of a race, and then at the end, I'm like, holy fuck, this is a great race. But yeah, those are my 2 people.
Yeah, so you got Kyle Larson was your biggest disappointment, biggest surprise with Bubba Wallace. Now, I mean, like, the one thing with Bubba Wallace is that he's been, in my opinion, Bubba Wallace has been pretty damn good on the 1.5 strategy in the entire career. So not really a shocker there. To be honest with you, he's not I'm not going to say was a disappointment by any stretch. 6th place is really good on the, for a finish.
Yeah.
But when I look at Bubba Wallace, it's like, okay, you finished 6th, and it's like, okay, well, the other Toyotas, again, showing speed, and it's like, damn, it's like, I'm waiting for that 23 car to flip a switch, where it's like,
Did
gets
he
that
have the
car
fastest lap? Did he have
believe-
the fastest lap?
I believe he did.
I think that might have been like what I was like mind blown by.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he led 35 laps in this race. I mean, pretty cool paint scheme too, by the way. The Space Jam.
Really
40th
cool.
anniversary. That was really cool. I love that. Love that paint scheme. Going back to your Larson, in regards to the top 5s in a row, he had 4 top 5s in a row: Michigan, Pocono, San Diego, and Sonoma.
Which is amazing. If you're not going to win races, at least finish in the top 5.
Yeah, your boy right now is on a 43 race winless streak, by the way. Now, and this is a public service announcement to all the Larson fans. I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about all of them in general. I'm a big Chase Elliott fan. I think everyone knows that on the show. And all these Larson fanboys love to talk about Chase Elliott's winless streak for years. Oh, Chase Elliott. You're on a 43 race winless streak.
Yeah.
This is supposedly the best driver in the sport, dude.
Yeah.
43 race winless streak. And, oh, by the way, Chase Elliott's got 2 wins. Actually, 3 wins since Larson's last... Or 4. I'm sorry. 4 wins since Larson's last win.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's just... I'm astonished by the fact that a driver at Larson's talent is on a 43 race winless streak. I get it. He's got the championship in there. But at the same time, I'm just like, dude, like 43 races, this is abnormal. I mean, this is like one of the obviously he had a more winless streak in the early parts of his career through like 2018. His last win was Richmond in 2017. And then from there, he went winless in 2018. And then he didn't win again until Dover 2019 in the fall. So I forget how many races it was, but it's like, yeah, this is
a lot.
Yeah, I mean, since Hendrick Motorsports, it's like, yeah, you're in Hendrick Motorsports, you're supposedly the best driver in the world, and you're on a 43 race winless streak. What the point is, I'm telling my Larson friends, winless streaks happen in the sport.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. I know you guys all love to sit there and say Chase Elliott was in a winless streak. Well, guess what? Larson is just Larson's on a nice winless streak himself. Like, let's cut it out here. But
You want to know who else is gaining a winless streak too in the same freaking
Joey
garage?
Logano.
Well, but in the same garage as him, not nearly as much. But William Byron.
William Byron is almost up to 36 weeks in a row
Yeah.
since his last win. I mean,
That's unheard of, dude. And it's same with the 5 car. What's going on?
I mean, there's some there's some drivers on massive winless streaks right now that you're like scratching your head on. I mean, someone brought it up on Facebook, and I forget what group or page it was, but they talked about like the winless streaks and all that type of stuff. Like, I get it, Stenhouse is on a winless streak, but like, come on, let's be realistic here. Like, that is not a shock. I mean, while I respect Ricky, let's not stand on ceremonial grounds and think that's a shocking stat. But like, you look at Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski has not won a race since and I love Brad, but he has not won since spraying Darlington in 2024, which absolutely is a shocker considering the fact that RFK was elevated. Kyle Larson is on the 43 race winless streak. William Byron hasn't won since Iowa last year. I mean, he's closing in on 36. Logano hasn't won since Texas last year. He's right there with Larson. I mean, Kansas and Texas were like 2 weeks apart last year? Maybe a week apart. Yeah, they were a week apart. So Logano's on a 44 race winless streak. I mean, what I'm saying is, and the point again, is that winless streaks happen in the sport. Knock it off.
Even the best drivers are the biggest names.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're Denny Hamlin, who's never on a winless.
I was just about to say that.
Unless you're Denny Hamlin. But Hamlin had a winless streak in his career. He went winless in 2018. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's the whole. I'm looking at Hamlin's stats right now. Hamlin won Darlington.
Isn't that the only year he never won a race?
Yeah. So Hamlin went winless in 2018. So Hamlin's last win before that was the Southern 500 in 2017. Went all of 2018 winless, and then ended up winning the 2019 Daytona 500. So he broke the winless streak right there. But, anyways, yeah. Going back to tonight's discussion about Chicagoland and not winless streaks anymore. A driver, going back to my biggest surprise, biggest disappointment. I said JJ Yeley leading 2 laps in this race was a big surprise. It definitely was. Caught me off guard. But I will say this. I think Bowman finishing 5th was a big surprise.
Yeah.
Bowman finishing 5th was a big surprise. Not the fact that he's incapable of winning races or putting the car in the front. And he's been pretty good on 1.5s in his career and all that type of stuff. It's just, Bowman had that 2-week stretch at Talladega in Texas where it's like, oh, okay, maybe the 48 can point himself back into the chase. And then Bowman kind of faded into the sunset and then magically reappeared in Chicagoland. Actually, magically reappeared in the in-season tournament. We'll talk about that in a second. But Bowman is probably my biggest surprise. And again, I guess with everyone that's listening, it's like all TNT talked about was he was the last driver to win at the track. But the biggest disappointment for me, and I'm going to go with driver of the 77, Carson Hocevar. We're on Hocevar here. That's my biggest disappointment. I expected more out of him.
Yeah.
Started 15th, finished 22nd. Was just there. I mean, at one point, the camera was on him, Chastain, and Logano racing together. It's basically a hornet's nest right there in a nutshell. But I mean, Hocevar finishing 22nd. It's like, damn. I expected more from the driver of the 77, especially with how he's been having a really nice season. And these are the tracks that I've expected Hocevar to start elevating his game at, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why it's very difficult for me to take him as a serious championship threat. It's just because he struggles on the 1.5s. Now, another driver, I will say this as I'm talking about Hocevar. Another driver that was a big disappointment this weekend, Ross Chastain.
Oh, yeah.
Ross
Chastain. He's just been a disappointment for
all season. Where are you guys?
Yeah.
Where are you at Trackhouse Racing, guys? Chastain, at one point in their organization's existence, you go to a 1.5 and you're like, oh my God, they're a threat to win this race.
Oh yeah.
And this week it was like, okay, maybe this is the time for Chastain to turn it around. He's had a down year, needs the points to get back into the chase, and he finishes 18th. I mean, nothing on the board, no stage points, no laps led, no nothing. He started 19th, he finished 18th.
Yeah.
Trackhouse has a problem, man.
Yep.
Trackhouse has a problem, and
the problem was signing Connor Zilic.
Oh my God! I mean, immediately, and if you follow us on Facebook at the Broken Wheel Brand Podcast, I mean, immediately, lap one, Zilic right into the wall, and it's like, dude, Zilic again, dude, Zilic. I mean, this to me, and I've said this on multiple weeks, on multiple episodes, and through multiple people within the industry. Is Connor Zilic the most overhyped prospect we have ever seen in our entire life? And I get it; it's a double-edged sword. Trackhouse Racing has been absolutely garbage this year, and it's going to get overlooked because SVG 1000% has the 2 road course wins.
He's the best driver.
And right now, SVG is in the chase at 14th. But the point is that, and I get it, your best driver in the organization, Chastain, is 22nd in the points, but Connor Zilic is, right now, and this is scary for all my Zilic fans, Zillage is 34th in the points. He leads the series with 7 DNFs. And here's the best part about it, Jake. He has 199 total points. He is literally, what is that, 33? Yeah, he's only 33 points ahead of Cody Ware. He is only 33 points ahead of Cody Ware in the points right now.
What
Like,
I want is who I want to answer your question about Connor Zillage is the people who say he's going to win 10 races this year.
Yeah, and they won't show up. They just won't. They're eating it. The thing that scares me about Zillage too, it's not that Zillage doesn't have the talent. He does.
He does.
The problem I have with Zillage is that not just, and again, it was not his fault that Jeff Gordon went on FS1 week 1 of the season at the Daytona 500. Basically said, yeah, drivers like Connor Zillage are going to be a superstar in this sport and all. It's not his fault that people did that to him.
No.
My biggest problem is that, yes, Trackhouse is struggling, but you have a generational prospect that has a ton of money and ton of resources that you backed with him. Randall Burnett as crew chief was a hell of a hire. And then on top of it, you have Red Bull money backing him, and he's sitting 34th in the points and 33 points ahead of Cody Ware. I will say this in regard, and like, it's gonna take me a while to trust Zillage as a driver. And again, he's 19 years old. He's got a ton of room for growth. I mean, Logano, a lot of fans when Logano entered the sport, they all thought he was a bust. But the thing I was gonna say with Zillage is, it's going to take me a long time to trust them to get that car in the victory lane. And when we do our preseason rankings in 2027, Jake, I'm going to sit there and say with Zillage, I just need to finish in the top 10. I just need him to finish.
No, I just need you to finish a race.
Yeah, I just need him to finish a race. I mean, right now, he's got 7 DNFs. We're 19 races into the season, right? And to put that in the perspective for my fans at home that want to do the math with me, he right now has a 36% DNF rate.
That's horrible.
36% DNF rate, dude.
It's a third of the races.
It's over a third. It's over a third they DNFs.
Yeah, and we're only halfway through.
I know. Like I said, my question is, it's not even the fact is when is Zillage gonna get out of this rut? Is my biggest question to the fans that are listening tonight is, does Cody Ware pass him in the points?
Could.
Cody Ware is doing everything possible to not, it's not that Cody Ware's DNF and all that type of stuff. It's just like Cody Ware's just finishing 30th. Zillage might be like 4 DNFs away. Cody Ware might be a couple finishes away, where Zillage might be the 35th ranked driver in points. Final point about Zillage tonight. I said most overhyped rookie in NASCAR coming into the Cup Series since J.J. Elley. When J.J. Elley got the Cup ride with Joe Gibbs Racing in the 18 car after Bobby Labonte, everyone thought J.J. Elley was the next hot thing coming in, right? What was the biggest thing? Oh, J.J. Elley reminds me of a young Tony Stewart. Well, that didn't pan out. That didn't pan out. Like 3 years later, all of a sudden, Joe Gibbs Racing's hiring Kyle Busch to drive the 18, and the rest is history.
Yep.
But, yeah, going back to the biggest disappointments, I go with Carson Hocevar. I'm going with Ross Chastain.
Yep.
And, again, it's just Trackhouse Racing putting out another mediocre performance, right? Chastain finishes 18th. SVG ends up getting caught in a wreck, 25th, and then Zillage DNFs. Shocker. Wow, Trackhouse Racing, another bust this week. All right. Jake, we have a points battle.
We do.
I don't even know if we have a points battle anymore.
I don't even know if it's a battle anymore. Yeah,
I don't think it's a battle.
Done.
Yeah, Denny, and for all the fans that are listening to us live and all the fans keeping track at home, Reddick ends up DNFing. Denny Hamlin's now plus 44 in the points. So for
Denny
everyone,
Hamlin did?
Yeah, finished top 3.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin watched him win those first 5 races and said, all right, hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. Denny Hamlin, literally, he had the 3-race winning streak, which, again, Reddick had 3 races in a row, and then all of a sudden Hamlin had 3 races in a row. And then now we're past the road courses. We were talking about Briscoe and Bell earlier in the show with, the summer stretch. Okay, who's going to get hot at the right time? Hamlin, this is a really lethal, he could really explode this points gap in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, Atlanta, we know what he does on restrictor plate races. Now, he could wreck. I don't know. But then you got North Wilkesboro, Indy. He's never won there. You damn well know for a fact that's circled on his calendar. Iowa, Richmond. Richmond, he loves that track. He's won there multiple times. I mean, New Hampshire, he's won. Daytona. I mean, Southern 500. I mean, this over the next like 7 to 8 weeks. I mean, he could blow this points lead out of proportion. He really could. In regards to Reddick, though, damn. I mean, you know, for everyone that said that NASCAR handed 23XI all these wins and all that type of stuff, you guys are looking like idiots now, considering the fact that Reddick, back-to-back weeks where he's had massive issues, or actually not back-to-back, 3 straight weeks where he had issues at the end of the race, right?
Mm-hmm.
San Diego blows a tire. Sonoma ends up having mechanical issues. Chicagoland ends up having another mechanical issue. You know, and I'm not writing Reddick off because we know how fast he can turn that around real quickly. We've seen him win 3 races in a row to start the season off. We could see it again. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting coming down the stretch with Denny Hamlin and Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick.
Yeah.
With this points lead. All right, Jake. Final driver I want to touch base on before we get into the in-season tournament. Brad Keselowski. Oh, God damn, dude.
Yeah, boy.
Talk about drivers that get hot at the right time in the summer stretch. Well, let's talk about Brad. I mean, if the only saving grace he has is that Connor Zilic is on the track record every single week, so no one's talking about him. I mean, for real. I mean, Brad, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
Dude, I mean, at one point, Brad going into Watkins Glen was a chase driver. He was in the top 10 in points. Come out of the Glen, finishes 30th at the Glen. Everyone wrote it off. Brad's not a road racer. Let's get ready for the Coke 600. Finishes 15th at the Coke 600. Respectable. Then shit hit the fan. Nashville, Michigan, Poconos finished 30th or worse. Same with San Diego, 30th or worse. 15th at Sonoma, 21st at Chicagoland. I mean, this is a driver at one point in the season. I'm like, damn, this system's going to fit the driver of the 6. Going into the chase, going to get hot at the right time, you know, stay consistent and all that in the points. And Brad has done nothing but shot himself in the foot since pretty much Texas. As I said, he was a top 10 driver in the points, and he now currently sits 20th.
And here's the thing, he practiced very well this weekend. He qualified in the top 5. I actually thought this was going to be a promising track for him. I really did.
Yeah, same. I mean, the practice.
And then I was like, and then I'm watching, like, where the fuck is the 6 car?
Yeah, the
I
practice.
blinked and he was gone.
The practice and the qualifying was the most confusing thing for me with the 6.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there going to my head, I'm like, okay, he actually has speed, and we talked about it on Saturday. We were like, okay, maybe Brad Keselowski, this might be the track that may end up being the spark plug to a better half of the season. And it wasn't. And the thing that's scary for me with Brad, it's like, okay, we can go to you could go to Atlanta and win, sure.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt about it. I mean, he finished their, 3rd last year. But then, like, what has Brad showed you this season that actually shows you could be a chase driver? Then we go to you got North Wilkesboro, and then you got Indy, which Indy I don't think that he has the equipment to win at. I know he finished 5th there last year. He finished 21st in 2024. That was a fuel strategy that he ended up getting screwed up on. Iowa, he was really good. I mean, again, there could be some tracks, but like Brad just needs a spark plug at this point. Brad just needs to put the car in the top 10. He just needs a top 10 right now. I mean, when I look at the stats, courtesy at NASCAR.com, Brad Keselowski only has 4 top 10s and 2 top 5s on the season. That's it. And after Daytona, I remember, doing cartwheels. I'm like, Brad's back, baby. Brad is back. This is going to be an RFK season and all that type of stuff. He was okay to start the season off. Finished 10th at Vegas. And then second, Darlington, we go to Darlington, offloads, and he looks like one of the best cars on the track. And then Reddick ends up taking off like crazy. But then since, Darlington, he's just been non-existent. Mm-hmm. And he's gradually declined. And then the last, the last 7 weeks for him, I mean, this is just awful. And it just continuously gets worse and worse and worse for him. That's a driver, we were talking about it. That's a driver that just needs a spark plug and just needs a finish to start this rally coming back up. currently sits 20th in the points. I mean, my question tonight to the audience, if you're listening to us live, one in the chat line wide open for you. Does Brad Keselowski make the chase? Does Brad Keselowski make the chase?
Well, it's like it's like the saying that you say all the time, which I love when you say it. You need to start trying to hit singles.
Yes.
Compare it to like we said earlier in the show. Compare it to other sports. Brad needs to get a single. Just get on base, dude.
Yeah.
And that's a top 10. And then let's get that runner advanced. Let's advance that runner. You know what I mean? I just feel like I don't know, man. I feel like it puts more heart into practice.
Yeah, and honestly, it's crazy to think about this too, because like I mean, RFK in general, I've been massively disappointed with. I mean, Buescher I know sits seventh in the points.
Buescher.
Buescher sits seventh in the points, but he's only got 2 top 5s, 9 top 10s. Here's the thing though about Buescher, he's only got 75 laps led this year through 19.
Which is crazy.
19 races, he only got 75 laps. So it's not like those RFK cars are in the front leading all the time, and things hit the fan like with Bell or Briscoe and all that type of stuff. It's just like you said. I mean, he just needs a single. I mean, does Atlanta spark plug it? I don't know, because it's like, all right, it's restrictor plate. It could. I need to see what he does at North Wilkesboro, because if he finishes if he finishes 20th or worse at North Wilkesboro, he's done.
Oh yeah,
he's done, and he will not make the chase. But does Brad Keselowski make the chase? And as of right now, I don't know.
I hate to say it, because his other teammates. I mean, I think Priest has a better chance.
Yeah, I mean, Priest is 17th in the points. I mean, right now he's been battling Cindric and Eric Jones. All three of those drivers seem like they've been basically fighting each other all for the 16th spot in the points. I mean, SVG, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with him the rest of the season. I really am. Did he collect enough points, and has he progressed better on the ovals to make it? He's 14th in the points. I do expect probably a regression from SVJ. So I do expect Priest to end up making the chase. But, I mean, for Brad, it's just like week after week, it's just like it gets worse and worse and worse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, all right. Jake, that's going to wrap up the driver discussions coming out of Chicagoland. Let's talk about this in-season tournament before we talk about Atlanta and all that type of stuff. So, in-season tournament for everyone keeping track at home. Sorry, I have an itch. In-season tournament coming out of Chicagoland. So, Alex Bowman, the little engine that could, 32nd ranked driver in the tournament. He advances into the round of 8. He beat Austin Cindric this past weekend. Bowman finished 5th. Cindric finished 13th. Todd Gilliland ended up knocking out Carson Hocevar. So, 25th ranked Todd Gilliland finished 16th. Hocevar finished 22nd. Gilliland advances to the round of 8. Briscoe ended up beating out Ty Gibbs. That's a 12-5 matchup. Briscoe ended up winning the race. You can't get any better than that. While Ty Gibbs didn't have a bad day, Ty Gibbs just didn't win the race. Michael McDowell ended up getting eliminated by Chase Elliott. That was a 4:20 matchup. Elliott ended up finishing 11th. McDowell finished 29th. For a quick second, not saying it was close to happening, but for a quick second, McDowell was above Elliott. And I'm sitting there going, I'm like, God, dude, if Chase Elliott gets knocked out by Michael McDowell, I'm done. I am so
on Chicago, on a mile and a half.
Yeah, on a mile and a half. I'm like, dude, come on. I'm like, that'd be Chase Elliott's luck, dude. Denny Hamlin ended up knocking out Eric Jones. Hamlin, that was a 2:15. That was a second rank against a 15th ranked matchup. Christopher Bell knocked out Chris Buescher. That was a 7-10 matchup. And William Byron knocked out Kyle Larson. That was a 6-11 matchup. And the final round of this from Chicagoland, Ryan Blaney knocked out Shane Van Gisbergen, which was a 3 against the 14th ranked matchup. So your final 8 in the in-season tournament right now. Alex Bowman is facing Todd Gilliland, like we all predicted and before the tournament started. Chase Elliott, the battle of the chases. Chase Elliott against Chase Briscoe. Denny Hamlin against Christopher Bell. And then Ryan Blaney going to take out some revenge on William Byron for breaking up with his sister. So, I'm going to ask you this. All right, so out of the bracket right now, who do you got? Alex Bowman or Todd Gilliland?
That's what sucks. It's Atlanta. You would say Alex Bowman. You would.
I mean, I'm just asking you who you think.
I'll take Bowman.
Bowman? Okay. I'm taking Bowman too. I think Bowman advances to Gillen. God, can we imagine another 32 seed ends up making the championship race?
Fucking hilarious, man.
Just like tied to, just like we all predicted. Like when they first created this tournament, that's what we wanted to see was Cinderella's 32s making it to the championship race. A fun fact: I like Cinderella stories. I get tired of Cinderellas every single year, and it's starting to pan out like this, and I'm like, God damn it, really?
Yeah.
Battle of the Chases. Who do you got?
I'm gonna do Elliott because he knows how to win here, and I feel like Chase Briscoe here is either wreckers or checkers.
Okay. All right. So you got Bowman, you got Elliott, you got 200 drivers. All right. Battle of Joe Gibbs Racing. Hamlin and Bell.
I think because it's unfortunately, this is where Hamlin's done because it's in Atlanta.
Okay. And then finally, the Battle of Revenge for William Byron breaking up with Aaron Blaney. Who do you got, Ryan Blaney or William?
I got Blaney.
Blaney.
Usually, I mean, Byron's good here too, but I feel like Blaney's more consistently good here. Like you said, it's restrictor play. It's so hard.
Yeah, I got Bowman. I have Elliott. I have Bowman, Elliott. I got Bell knocking out Hamlin. I think that's going to be the upset of the week. And then I have Blaney.
So we're the same.
Did you pick Bell or pick Hamlin?
Bell.
You picked Bell?
I said,
okay.
I said this is when Hamlin goes home.
Okay. I got you. All right, so we're the same, yeah. So I got Blaney knocking out Byron. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Byron ends up winning this race. It's 100 Motorsports.
Yeah. Thought he was going to win this on Sunday too, but totally fucking should have totally fucking fell in his face.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's get into the point standings coming out of Chicagoland for all the fans listening to us live. Denny Hamlin, your points leader now, currently 44 points ahead of Tyler Reddick. Which, if you asked me a month ago, not a month ago. If you asked me like the beginning of May if this was even possible, I would have said no. I mean, I felt that Hamlin would have caught Reddick, but probably at Iowa or Richmond. Not after Chicagoland. Or not after Sonoma, and then putting distance on him after Chicagoland. So, Hamlin, he's your points leader. 44 above second place, Tyler Reddick. Blaney, for how bad Penske's been this year. Ryan Blaney, dude, he is holding the fort down. He's third in the points. Ty Gibbs currently fourth. What's amazing about Gibbs is that Gibbs has got 4 DNFs this year. He still sits fourth in the points.
Yeah.
It's insane. Chase Elliott, and I feel like Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, they're 5th and 6th, respectively, right now. Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, I just feel like they're flip-flopping at this point between who wants to be 5th and 6th. Busher currently sits 7th in the points. Chase Briscoe jumped 3 spots coming out of Chicagoland with this win. He's now currently 8th in the points. Carson Hocevar sits 9th. Christopher Bell sits 10th. Daniel Suarez ends up dropping 2 slots. He's now 11th in the points, while William Byron is 12th. Bubba Wallace is 13th, Shane Van Gisbergen is 14th, Austin Cindric's 15th, and Eric Jones is 16th. Below the cut line, the next 4 below the cut line is Ryan Preece is 17th, Joey Logano jumped 2 spots this past weekend in 18th, AJ Allmendinger 19th, and Brad Keselowski is 20th in the points. So one thing I will say is AJ Allmendinger, credit where credit's due. This was a very good last 2 weeks for him. And with Colleague Racing having no manufacturer support right now with Chevrolet, having that car 19th and within striking distance of the chase, gotta give credit to AJ Allmendinger. That is a massive task on what he's been performing. So I'll give credit with AJ Allmendinger. And then last question for you tonight before we get into our picks at Atlanta. Is there a driver that is in the chase right now that you think will drop out of the chase? And is there a driver below the chase cut line that you think will jump into the chase?
So I think that SVG does not. No, actually, no. I think SVG stays. I think he picked up enough points to stay pretty, and he's been average at best on ovals this year. I'm not. That's being nice giving him out. I think Austin Cindric drops. And you're going to fucking think I'm crazy for saying this. I think Ross Chastain kicks it in high gear.
That is a
I
massive
think,
task.
dude. I mean, if you look at the difference in points, it can be done.
It can no, it definitely can be done. It's just have you seen enough from Trackhouse this season for it to get done?
I just like the easy answer is to say Ryan Priest. That's the easy answer. Joey Logano sucks. AJ Allmendinger, I mean, it's like you said, I'm very impressed. Brad, unless he pulls a win out in Iowa, like how he raced last year at Iowa. And then I don't see Michael McDowell, but
McDowell, I definitely don't see. Allmendinger, I don't see Allmendinger making the chase, and the only reason why is because he has no manufacturer support. What he's done is incredible, but that is a tall task for him to make the chase. Now,
Allmendinger has been doing pretty good.
Now, granted, if he makes the chase, what would be incredible for AJ is if he ends up making the chase, is that he will not finish below 16th in the points. So at that point, they're just banking money at that point for when they go to Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely incredible. I mean, but I don't think Allmendinger makes it. I think Logano is going to go into another cold streak again. There's no chance. I have not seen anything from Joey Logano to make me think he's a chase driver this year.
I mean, I think he can win on Sunday, but I think anybody in this field can win on Sunday.
I mean, if he wins on Sunday, it puts him in the chase most likely.
Oh yeah.
Right, coming out of Atlanta, that doesn't mean he's in the chase for good.
No.
Brad, right now, he's at 392. The cut is at 411. That's 20-something points. Brad could, but Brad's got to stop. Brad's got to get out of this rut and just hit a single and just continue progressively getting better. He needs the spark plug. But with
that's what Ross needs. He needs a single.
Yeah, I mean, Chastain's an interesting answer because, I mean, he's got 375 points. The cut is 411 to Eric Jones. That's 36 points?
Yes.
That's 36 points. I mean, I will say, so who's in the chase right now? I would say this. I think Hamlin 1,000%. Hamlin's going to be clinched by the end of the month. Yeah. Reddick most likely is going to follow suit unless he has a massive, terror. I mean, well, to lose, almost 300 points is going to be nearly impossible.
I think your top 6 are set. I don't think they finished like that, but
I would say the top 6 are pretty set. I would actually even give you probably the top 10. I would say maybe top 11 are pretty much, top 10 I would say they're set. I mean, Suarez at 11th, he's at 507. I mean, he's still about 80-something points ahead of the cut line. That's doable for him to slide out. I mean, Byron is at 499. I mean, I agree. I think the top 10 will be pretty much set.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, I don't know. I don't have faith in SVG. I don't. I think SVG ends up. I don't think SVG collected enough points on road courses, and I don't think he collected enough wins to overcome any issues on these ovals. I think you're going to see SVG out of the chase by the end of it. I think Cindric falls apart.
Yeah.
Eric Jones, I'm going to say he makes it.
Yeah. He's impressed me this year.
For what he's done with Legacy Motor Club and what Legacy's been putting at the track, for him, not John Hunter Nemechek, but for him necessarily, I think it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
So there's 2 slots. I would say Priest ends up making it, and then at that point it's Russian roulette. I mean, I don't think Chastain's out of it. I mean, but I think once you get past Chastain, I think the rest of the field's pretty much done.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of going to put my cut at. I mean, Zane Smith was showing a little bit of life, but I just think that's a pretty big gap.
I mean, Riley Herbst, I don't trust enough. He hasn't done enough in the Cup to make me feel confident. Gilliland,
he hit a single this week. Riley Herbst
hit a single. I mean, Gilliland, I don't think makes it. Gilliland. I mean, Ricky, John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, Austin Dillon. I mean, Bowman. I mean, they're so far. And then once we get, I will say once we get past Bowman, the rest is pretty much done. I mean, Gregson, Barry, Dillon, Custer, Zillage, and Ware are pretty much eliminated.
Yep.
At this point. All right. Atlanta. Second time.
Yep.
the most entertaining track on the schedule, in my opinion. I love this
love
track. I love this track. Except for TNT and NASCAR. Why is this on a Sunday night?
Yeah, that's true.
Why is this
Give
on
us more Saturday nights.
Give me a Saturday night. Give me a Saturday night at Atlanta. Give me Hot Atlanta on a Saturday night under the lights, dude. Please. Last year was fantastic, dude. When it was on Saturday night, I'm like, this can't get any better.
Yep.
I'm like,
It's
life
the race
is
at
great.
9 o'clock for all I care on a Saturday night. I don't care when you start.
Saturday night at Atlanta. Oh man, that's what they should be doing. But anyways, it's on Sunday night at 7 o'clock on TNT. But all right. So in the beginning of the season, Jake, if you listen to our pre-season show, got our handy dandy list. This week you chose Chase Briscoe to win the race, and I chose Daniel Suarez. So I want to ask you: are you sticking with Briscoe?
I don't think he wins back to back, but I'm going to stick with my pick. I'm going to stick with my pick.
You're gonna stick with Briscoe.
Yep. I got to stick with the script, man.
Yeah. In the script right now, I'm up 3-2 to you, which is nice. But we still have a long way to go. Preseason, I chose Daniel Suarez. Am I sticking with this pick? Oh, it's very difficult to bet against Daniel Suarez in Atlanta. It's very difficult. I'm changing the pick. I'm mulligan in here. Give me Chase Elliott. Give me Chase Elliott this week. You know, you talk about
back to back and
talk about another driver that needs a spark plug. Beginning of the season looked like he was like a world beater, and then all of a sudden he fell off from the prime stretch in the early TNT. This is the week I love him. I
love his car this week too.
Yeah, and listen, Nap is not the primary sponsor, so if our good friend Dave that listens to the show is listening, it's not a scheduled loss this week. It's not. Nap is not on the card. This is a win here. This is a win, dude. And I know that Atlanta Children's Hospital and Napa are in partnership, but Napa will not be the primary sponsor on that car. Schedule win. I love Chase Elliott this week.
Schedule win.
11.3 average finish at Atlanta since 2023. 6 races, got 1 win, 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, and I love Chase Elliott this week. So, and you're sticking with Briscoe.
Yeah, I'll stick with my script.
All right, cool. I'm going with Chase Elliott. All right, driver to watch this week. Who do you got?
My driver to watch. We talked about him a lot this week, but I do want to see a little bit more. Like I want to see this progression to keep going. Is C Bell?
It's a good one.
C-Bell.
Talk about a driver that you can get that little single here. This could be a good week for him too. So you're going with Bell for the driver to watch. Driver I'm going to watch this week. I'm going with Chastain. I picked him last week at Chicagoland as a driver to watch. I'm picking him again this week at Atlanta. Now, in the beginning parts of Trackhouse Racing, he was really good here. But kind of cooled off. Since the start of 2023, he's got 1 top 5, 3 top 10s in 7 races. His average start's 25th, to be honest with you. But it's restrictor play. He can get through the field pretty quickly. You talk about Chastain possibly making the chase. This is the week that he needs to. If he's going to make the chase, this is the week that he's got to start doing it. Give me Ross Chastain as a driver to watch this week. And then last but not least, your dark horse.
I'm going with my boy Ricky.
Ricky.
Wrecking Ricky.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's a good pick. I mean, he finished 4th here last year in the summer race.
I just want to see Ricky win again. I'm a Ricky fan.
Yeah.
I like Ricky.
You know, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Interesting. That's a good pick. Dark horse for me this week is AJ Allmendinger.
Okay. The old AJ Allmendinger.
I know we talked about it. Actually, damn, that sucks. I'm going 3 Chevrolets, so I would 1,000% bet all my money in the world that Toyota wins this race.
Absolutely hope not.
Yeah.
I would rather say I've never said this in my life. I can't even say this. I'd rather see a fucking Ford win.
Yeah. Give me AJ Allmendinger as my dark horse. He's got the 4th. He's got the 4th best stats, courtesy of DriverAverage.com. Average finish is 11.4 at this track in 5 races, 1 top 5, 1 top 10. Average starts 20.2. I can't lie. The data doesn't lie. I kind of like AJ in the spot. You know what sucks though? As I'm looking at driveraverages.com before we let everybody go tonight. Kyle Busch, man, this would have been a perfect track for him too.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch, damn those stats. I'm looking at the stats right now, and I'm like, damn, dude. We got Doug who checked in on the Blended chat line. He asked a question: how many laps does Connor Zillage finish?
I think he's finished more races than he has laps.
How many laps does Zillage finish? I mean, that's a good over/under. I'm going to say 98. 98 laps is the over/under right now.
I don't think it makes out of stage one. I think he's in the first big one, which is going to be in stage one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that there's a big wreck in stage one.
I think he causes it.
Running in the front, too. Like he did at Daytona.
I think he causes it.
So I asked this question to somebody before, and I'm going to ask it on air tonight before we let everybody go. Who has a better career, in your opinion, Corey Heim or Connor Zillage?
Like right now?
If you're predicting the future.
Oh, like predicting the future? Corey Heim. Corey Heim wins a race in his first year next year. 110%.
Corey won it in a part-time season.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Connor Zillage to win in Michigan on the preseason. That was it. And that was just because, like, okay, he might get hot. I think that's the only time I picked him. I don't even think you picked him.
No, I didn't.
And I was being gracious saying that. And I did not think he was going to win. I'm not over here saying, oh, Connor Zillage is going to win 10 fucking races in his first fucking year and walk away with a championship like some other fucking morons.
Yeah.
But, dude, Corey Heim is a threat next year. I think.
I think Heim has a much better career.
Oh, yeah.
I think Heim has a better career than Zillage. And I know that people are like, well, you got to put him in the same manufacturer. Why? That's not the point. Yeah, that's not the point. The point is that everyone's like, well, Zillage going to be racing at Trackhouse and, Heim's going to be racing at 23XI. Okay, so what? You guys weren't saying that 2 years ago.
No.
You guys weren't saying that a year ago that Trackhouse racing was a bad place to race for.
Even last year, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I honestly would think that those two are like side by side.
Yeah, I think Heim has a much better career. I know. I mean, and let me say this. I say this now because I can't predict everything that's going to happen over the next 10 years. Zillage may end up, Lord knows, Zillage may end up being like, I'm out of Trackhouse racing, and then all of a sudden might drive the 48 in 2027. And then all of a sudden, now all bets are off.
Yeah.
Then all bets are off. But at the same time, but I mean, why would Rick, I mean, what you've seen from Connor Zillage this year, why would Rick Hendrick want to put a 20, in 2 years that you'd be 21? Why would you want to put him in that car?
I personally wouldn't. And I mean, going back to what I was saying, like, it was Hendrick and then Trackhouse.
With the Chevrolets. Yeah, with the Chevrolets.
And now Spire jumped them this year, I would say. I think you can agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think in Toyota, it's JGR, then it's 23XI.
For sure. I will say this about the Chevrolets. Right now, it's Hendrick Motorsports and then Spire. And that's that. I mean, the rest of the Chevrolets are basically just non-existent at this point. I mean, I would love to see Trackhouse, but man, and I hate to end the show like this, but I just feel like we talked about this all season long so far. I just feel like everything hit the fan when Pitbull left Trackhouse Racing. I really do.
Yeah, no, I agree with you too.
And I think my problem with Trackhouse is that I think Justin Marks has got his hand in way too much at this point, and he's not focusing on what it's actually got him successful in that team in general.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right, that's going to take us to a checker flag tonight on tonight's episode of the Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast. Appreciate everyone tuning in tonight, chiming in on the Blended Energy chat line this week. Again, if you love what you're hearing, follow us on Facebook at the Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast, YouTube at the Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast, on TikTok at the Broken Wheel Bearing Pod. And then, of course, follow us on Facebook and YouTube as well at the Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast. I said Facebook twice. Sorry. It's been a long night. It's been a long day. If you miss a live episode, feel free to check us out on our streaming platforms, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. If you miss our live episode, you'll be able to listen to us the episode on the streaming platforms. If you're going to Atlanta this week, enjoy the race. Should be a lot of fun. Hot Atlanta. Love this track a ton. Can't wait to talk to every single one of you next week here at the Broken Wheel Brand Podcast. Again, have a wonderful night. Be safe, be blessed, and we'll chat next week. Post Atlanta. Good night.